If a religion is true, it sets you free to be your true self. It nurtures loving kindness and generosity in your heart. It humbles you before the ultimate and before your neighbour. If a religion is true, it challenges your conscience and opens your mind. It makes you responsible for yourself and for your world. It stirs you to seek the liberation and well-being of others. If a religion is true, it deepens your awareness and nourishes your spirit. It brings you comfort and strength in times of grief and trial. It connects you to other people and to the life of the very universe. If a religion is true, it will care less for dogma and doctrine than it will for love. It will care less for customs and rules than for compassion. It will care less for the gods we make than for the people we are. So as we gather together in community this morning, may ours be a true religion. These opening words by the retired Unitarian minister Cliff Reed welcome all who have gathered this morning for our Sunday service. Welcome to those of you who are here in person. Welcome to all who are joining us via Zoom from far and wide. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Jane Blackall and I'm minister with Kensington Unitarians. This morning's service is titled The Spirit of Generosity. In the next hour, we'll explore this theme through readings and reflections, music and stillness. For as the UU Minister Victoria Weinstein says in words that are on the front of your order of service, and if you're joining at home there on the web with all the rest of the words, the purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather there to be more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. So as we enter into the season of Advent this Sunday, I'm going to invite you to make it a season of generosity. Now, as we often say here, we make this hour sacred with our presence and intention. So let's take a moment before we go any further to recall what that intention is as we gather here once again. We join together as a gathered spiritual community, travelling in from all over London and sometimes beyond, sitting down at our screens in places all over the world to co-create something special together. So let's take a breath or two to catch up with ourselves. Let's make sure we've really arrived. Let's do our best to set aside any worry or agitation we came in with as best we can. And let us prepare our hearts to worship together. I'm going to light our chalice flame as I do each time we gather. This simple ritual connects us in solidarity with Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists the world over. And it reminds us of the proudly progressive religious tradition of which this gathering is part. We light this chalice as a reminder of the tradition that holds us and the values that we share as a community, our commitment to the common good, our yearning for a better world that's yet to be, where all may know true freedom, justice, equality and peace. May this little light and all that it represents make a home in our hearts, where it will ever guide us back to our highest aspirations and help us to be responsive, creative, just and loving, faithfully embodying the spirit of generosity in this complex and ever-changing world. And let us light our first Advent candle too. Traditionally, the first candle in Advent represents hope. So may we know hope this Advent season, hope that the better world we dream of is on its way. Time to sing. Our first hymn today is number 62 in your purple books if you're in church, and the words will be up on screen if you're at home. Here we have gathered. Feel free to stand or sit as you prefer and sing up as best you can. Hymn number 62. So let's take all those joys and concerns, both spoken and unspoken, into an extended time of prayer and reflection now. You might want to adjust your position. You might want to close your eyes. There might be some sort of posture that helps you to feel more prayerful. Whatever helps you get into the right state of body and mind for us to pray together now, to be fully present in this sacred time and space with ourselves, with each other, and with that which lies within us and beyond us. Spirit of life, God of all love, in whom we live and move and have our being. We turn our full attention to you, the light within and without, as we tune into the depths of this life and the greater wisdom to which and through which we are all intimately connected. Be with us now as we allow ourselves to drop into the silence and the stillness at the very center of our being. In coming here to worship, we each bring with us our own deepest needs and the deepest needs of those we love and care about. Some of us bring the need to express thanks because we are aware that there is more to our cause for thankfulness than anyone can take credit for. Some of us bring the need to be contrite and feel forgiven because we realize that in spite of all our efforts to make amends, there are still wounds left unhealed and things that were said and done that cannot be unsaid or undone. Some of us bring the need for comfort and for consolation because there is distress or loss in our lives or in the wider world, which is beyond the reach of gentle words and gestures of kindly souls. Some of us bring the need for guidance and for direction because the tangle of life seems far too complex for reason and advice alone to unravel. So in a few quiet moments now, let us take some time to pray inwardly the prayers of our own hearts, calling to mind all those souls we know to be suffering this day, whether close to home or in places of trouble the world over. Let us hold all these sacred beings in the light of love. And let us also pray for ourselves, for we too are sacred beings who face our own struggles and do our best to muddle through life's ups and downs. Let us reflect on our own lives and ask for what we most need this day, be it comfort or forgiveness or guidance, what we most need to flourish. And let us take just a little longer to remember the good things in life and give thanks for them. All those moments in this past week where we've encountered generosity, kindness, or pleasure. Let us cultivate a spirit of gratitude as we recall all those moments that have lifted our spirits this week. Spirit of life, God of all love, as this time of prayer draws to a close, we offer up our joys and our concerns, our hopes and our fears, our beauty and our brokenness. And we call on you for insight, healing, and renewal. As we look forward now to the coming week, help us to live well each day and be our best selves, using our unique gifts in the service of love, justice, and peace. Amen.
Generosity as a Spiritual Practice by Heather Brooks. Generosity is a term that typically brings up thoughts of giving something to someone else. Even more, when we hear the word generosity, most of us tend to think in terms of money. A generous gift is an expensive one. A generous contribution has a lot of zeros after that initial number. There is also this sense of self-sacrifice in the idea of generosity. In the story of the widow's mite from the Christian scriptures, Jesus praises the impoverished widow's meager offering over and above the large contributions of the wealthy at the temple. But generosity is not merely or even primarily about money. We are generous with our time. We can share our knowledge and skills generously. We can be emotionally generous. There is a connection between generosity and generative. The common root word is gen, which refers to birth or becoming. Mark Ewert suggests that generosity causes something new to be produced, either a connection between people or between people and organizations. Yet for most of us, generosity is a kind of giving up of something we have. If I have money, I can give someone something else. If I have time, I can volunteer to help someone. This sense of generosity as giving up something I have begins to limit us. Perhaps it causes either a sense of scarcity or a sense of entitlement. Meditation teacher Sharon Salzberg suggests this sense of generosity puts a cap on our giving, saying, I will give this much and no more. Or I will give this article or object if I am appreciated enough through this act of giving. But the power of generosity is created not from giving something up, but from letting go. She writes, being able to give to others shows us our ability to let go of attachments that otherwise limit our beliefs and our experiences. It is through the practice of generosity that we learn to see through the attachments and create space for ourselves. Generosity is a spiritual practice. It is a practice that allows us to free ourselves from that which holds us back, from that which tries to protect our hearts, but ends up disconnecting us from one another. This move toward freedom, toward connection, toward spaciousness in our lives is a powerful tool in our spiritual toolbox. The Buddha is said to begin instructing students by teaching first about generosity. The Buddha would teach that we all have something to give. Materially, yes, but also paying attention to someone, listening deeply, smiling, touching, or thanking them. These are all displays of generosity of spirit. Our generosity, no matter how we practice it, will bring forth our connection to each other and the world upon which we live.
Thanks, Sonya. Time to sing again now. Our next hymn is number 37 in your purple books, For the Fruits of All Creation. Again, the words will be up on screen. Sing up if you can.
A Season of Glad Giving by Karen Herring. As the Christmas season approaches, we occupy ourselves with many traditions of giving. Our gifts may be boxed and wrapped, tied in bows and ribbons, laid under trees, or delivered one day at a time. In our many different ways, we participate in this generous giving and grateful receiving, exchanging gifts of time and music, as well as material blessings. Yet sometimes, in the flurry of all the festive exchanges, it is easy to lose sight of the real meaning of this glad giving. For on any day, in any season, a gift is no small thing. Given in gladness and without expectations, a gift is an opening of the heart, an offering of oneself, an exchange of love, respect, or goodwill, or all of these at once. Even the simplest of gifts, sometimes especially the simplest, can be a powerful thing. As John Kabat-Zinn writes, at the deepest level, there is no giver, no gift, and no recipient, only the universe rearranging itself. In the traditions of many tribal cultures around the world, a gift is something that must, by its nature, keep moving. The person who receives a gift is often expected in time to return it to the one who gave it, give it to someone else, or pass on a different gift in its place. The important thing is to keep the gift moving in the larger sense. A gift held too tightly ceases to be a gift. As we consider the many gifts we've been given over our lifetimes, the talents we've received at birth or by training, the circumstances and opportunities that have blessed and shaped us, the comforts we enjoy materially, emotionally, and spiritually, we might ask ourselves how we will keep these gifts moving. Perhaps this is the reason for the old tradition of writing New Year's resolutions so soon after the gift-giving traditions of December. It may be the best time for remembering, with gratitude of heart, all that we have been given, and considering, with generosity of spirit, all that we might give back. It may be the best time to understand how we might participate all year long in the radical and restorative rearrangement of the universe. As we move through this season of giving, let us be grateful for all that we receive, and let us remember to keep our gifts moving.
Thanks, Charlotte. So we're moving now into a time of meditation. I'm going to share a poem, short poem by Alberto Rios, When Giving is All We Have, to continue reflecting on our theme. Those words will take us into 3 minutes of silence, which will end with the sound of a bell. And then we're going to hear some music from Xiaowen to continue the meditative mood. So again, let's each do what we need to do to get comfortable. You might want to put your feet flat on the floor. You might want to put down anything you don't need to be holding. And as I always say, the words are just an offering. Feel free to use this time to meditate in your own way. When giving is all we have. One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is old, its plot worn, and the pages too. But we read this book anyway, over and again. Giving is first and every time hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together we made something greater from the difference.
This reading on giving is by Khalil Gibran. You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. For what are your possessions but things you keep and guard, for fear that you may need them tomorrow? And tomorrow? What shall tomorrow bring to the overprudent dog burying bones in the trackless sands as he follows the pilgrims to the holy city? And what is fear of need but need itself? Is not dread of thirst when your well is full, the thirst that is unquenchable? There are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these, God speaks. And from behind their eyes, he smiles upon the earth. It is well to give when asked, but it is better to give unasked through understanding. And to the open-handed, the search for one who shall receive is joy greater than living. And is there aught you would withhold? All you have shall some day be given. Therefore give now, that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. Surely he who is worthy to receive his days and nights is worthy of all else from you. And he who has deserved to drink from the ocean of life deserves to fill his cup from your little stream. And what desert greater shall there be than that which lies in the courage and the confidence, nay, the charity of receiving? And who are you that men should rend their bosom and unveil their pride, that you may see their worth naked and their pride unabashed? And who are you that men see first that you yourself deserve to be a giver and an instrument of giving. For in truth it is life that gives unto life, while you, who deem yourself a giver, are but a witness. And you receivers, and you are all receivers, assume no weight of gratitude, lest you lay a yoke upon yourself and upon him who gives. Rather rise together with the giver on his gifts as on wings. For to be over mindful of your debt is to doubt his generosity, who has the free-hearted earth for mother and God for father.
Thanks, Brian. This seems as good a moment as any to remind you that the whole text of the service is up on the website. These poems often benefit from a second reading, and indeed the poem for the meditation is in your order of service. if you're in the room, so you can read that on the bus home. So what can we say about the spirit of generosity? We can say that it's not really about money, or at least not just about money, though for sure there are plenty of charities, campaigns and good causes out there who are very much in need of financial support right now, if we have any we can spare. And I should say, for sure, we are very grateful as a congregation for the generous contributions that people make to the work of this church through regular donations and occasionally through legacies, which have been of great importance in keeping the show on the road through lean times. But as Heather Brooks said in the reading that we heard from Sonya earlier, generosity is not primarily about money. We are generous with our time. We can share our knowledge and our skills generously. We can be emotionally generous, paying attention to someone, listening deeply, smiling, touching, or thanking them. These are all displays of generosity of spirit. And the readings from Karen Herring and Khalil Gibran also remind us that generosity is about the endless interplay of giving and receiving, keeping our gifts moving, for life gives unto life. And as John Kabat-Zinn said, at the deepest level there is no giver, no gift, and no recipient, only the universe rearranging itself. So all that said, the invitation of today's service is this. I invite you to make this Advent a season of generosity. There's a little yellow slip of paper in your order of service if you're here in the building. If you want a larger one, there's a few A4-sized ones up the back. If you're at home, Charlotte's going to put a link in the chat showing you where to download a version off the website. And it's really simple. There's a little space every day from now until Christmas for you to jot down a generous moment that you notice each day. This might be an act of generosity that you've done yourself, a generous moment you've intentionally created, or it might be one that you witnessed somebody else doing. Or as it says on the little form, look out for opportunities to be generous in the broadest sense of the word, not just in the sense of giving material gifts or making donations to good causes, but offering a helping hand, taking time to listen, interpreting situations charitably, cutting people some slack. Also, look out for the spirit of generosity at work all around you in the kindnesses of others, and try to spot or create a generous moment each day, small or large. Make a note of it on the page, in your journal, on your phone, and why not tell us about it too? That's your mission if you choose to accept it. I look forward to hearing more about your season of generosity as it unfolds over tea, in the WhatsApp group. Let's see what you find. So I invite you now to join in a shared reading, a litany of generosity, which is in your order of service, and the words will also be up on screen. It's up to you. You can either join in with the whole thing, or you can join in with the first line of each couplet that repeats, or you can join in with the response, which changes each time, whatever you prefer. A litany of generosity. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may fully appreciate all your many gifts to us. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may give without counting the cost. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may share without expecting something in return. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may know the joy that comes from helping others. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may freely share of all blessings we have been given. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may hold our treasures in our open hand. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may be gracious and unbegrudging in our giving. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may learn the difference between what we need and what we want. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may recognize the many gifts in each passing day. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may know the freedom that comes with true generosity. Spirit of life, God of all love, give us generous hearts, so we may live lives of gratitude in service of the highest good, and may it be so for the greater good of all. Amen. One last hymn then. Our last hymn is number 200 in your purple books. What does the Lord require? It's a hymn which asks what it means for us to live rightly. It might seem a little bit tangential to our theme, but there's something in the refrain, love, true justice do, love mercy too, and walk with God. To love mercy, it seems to me that speaks to the spirit of generosity. So sing up as best you can for our closing hymn. So just a few announcements now then. Thank you to Ramona for tech hosting. Thanks for Charlotte welcoming everyone at home. Thanks to Sonya, Charlotte and Brian for reading. Brian's just running out to put the kettle on. Our supposed coffee maker today, Liz, is poorly. Get well soon, Liz. So yeah, anything you could do to help Brian in the kitchen would be gratefully received. Thanks to Xiaowen for our music. Thanks to Juliet for greeting. I've made ginger cake with lemon icing this week, so even if you have to dash off, do pick up a slice before you go. If you're online, please do stay on and have a chat with Charlotte. We've got various small group activities going on during the week. Heart and Soul, our contemplative spiritual gathering, will be online tonight or Friday at 7 o'clock, where the theme is True Feelings. Let me know if you want to sign up. And this week there's also an in-person Heart and Soul on Wednesday. It'd be good to know if you're coming along to that, so I know who to expect. As ever, Sonia's near classes are on every Friday lunchtime at 12:30. We've got lots of other notable events coming up in the run-up to Christmas. Our community singing group is back on the 13th of December, Wednesday night at 7. It's free and fun. It's a collaboration with a brilliant local musician who would frankly carry on all night if we didn't turn the lights off. He made a great sound from us all last time, so I encourage you to come along. You don't need to be able to read music, and the repertoire is kind of gospel, folk, pop, good stuff. Our main carol service is on the 17th of December. We'll have the quartet singing. It'll be followed by a potluck lunch, so please let Patricia know if you're coming to that and what you plan to bring. And we'll also be having our traditional candlelit service on Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock. No morning service that day. And please do save the date. We're also having a winter solstice event on Friday the 22nd. There'll be a 45-minute folk concert from Marilisa at 6 o'clock, followed by time for festive treats and some solstice sharing. Again, let me know if you're planning to come so I'll know what sort of numbers we have in mind. We'll be back next Sunday with a new start time of 11 o'clock next week, and our theme is disability visibility. We'll draw on the insights of some brilliant disability activists and contributions from members of the congregation to mark the International Day of Disabled People next Sunday. Details of all these activities are on the back of your order of service. They're in the Friday email. Please do sign up for the mailing list if you haven't already. This congregation very much has a life beyond Sunday mornings, so we encourage you to keep in touch, look out for each other, and do what you can to nurture supportive connection. I think that's everything. So just time for our closing words and our closing music. As we depart from this place of sanctuary, let us be thankful for the life that sustains and renews us, receptive and open to the grace that surrounds and surprises us every day. May we go forth from this sacred gathering guided by the spirit of generosity, with compassionate hearts, awakened, responsive, and ready to give of ourselves for the sake of love. Amen.